Welcome to our unboxing of the Advocate Arm Blood Pressure Monitor. Today we're going to be going through what's in the box, how to set it up, and basic use. The setup for the Advocate is actually very easy. There's only a few parts. It does come with 4 AA batteries in the box, so you just want to make sure that you add all of them in there following the directions. I'm going to add our last one in. It will beep to let you know that they're all in correctly. And then we're just going to plug our arm cuff in. So the arm cuff has a little adapter here, and then it's going to go right on the side. And on the side, there's even an image of a cuff, so you know that's exactly where it goes. And that is it for setup. We're going to go through the actual use of the blood pressure monitor next, but I did want to point out that on each cuff, you may notice that there are measurements here, and it is the arm size measurement. And that's because when a blood pressure monitor is ordered or received, it does need to be specific to the person using it and the arm size in the cuff that they will need to have an effective reading. To set the date and time on the Advocate, you're going to press and hold the set button. You'll see it light up on the corner, and it will start to blink. And you can use the 1 and 2 buttons here to either increase the number or decrease it for what's needed. So we'll do 2025, and then we're going to move on to the month, and we'll move on to the day. When you're done with that, you're going to press the set button again. It will move over the time and the minutes. And when you're done, it will clear. If you turn the power on and nobody's actually wearing the cuff, it will show an error message, so it won't take a reading. The Advocate does allow for 2 different users to have a memory stored of previous readings. And just so you know, when it gives the previous readings, it gives the average of the last 3. To set whether it is person 1 or 2 taking their next reading, you're just going to select whether it's 1 or 2 while it is off still, and you'll see 1 on the screen. Turn it off, and then during your next reading, it will take it and put it in the history for person 1. Same thing if you were going to do it for person 2. If you press 2, you'll see that there are no memory readings in there, and then when you turn it on for the next reading, it will go under the memory for person 2. The memory for each person, again, is the average of the last 3 readings, so you'll see all of that information there, and it does say average. To delete the history or memory for one person, you're just going to press and hold that user, and you'll see that it says no, and you no longer have the memory stored. You'll notice on the side that there is a blood pressure classification indicator that is color-coded. You'll discuss with your physician what your target heart rate as well as blood pressure should be, and if you have any concerns, do not hesitate to reach out to them. So now we're going to get into how to actually put on the arm cuff and use the blood pressure monitor for a reading, and Rebecca's going to help me with that. There are a few things you actually need to make sure of before you take the reading itself. First, you should not smoke or drink caffeine for about 30 minutes before you take the reading. You also should try to relax for about 5 minutes before you take the reading. Lastly, you want to try to take the reading on a bare arm, so if you have a sweater or anything on, you want to take that off. I will just point out that it should be about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch above her elbow joint, and that pressure tube should lie along the center of the underside of her arm. When that cuff comes all the way around, you want to make sure it's still lined up nicely. And when you take a reading, she should be sitting upright and with her feet flat on the ground, and her wrist should face upright so her palm is up and resting on a table. You may notice that Rebecca has the cuff on her left arm. That's because unless your physician recommends otherwise, we typically will take the reading on our left arm. When we do the reading, we want to try to make sure that the cuff itself is at level with your heart and it's not too tight. So you can check how tight it is by trying to put 2 fingers in between the cuff and your arm, and it shouldn't take a lot of pressure to be able to do so. Taking a reading is very simple. We're literally just going to push that power button, wait a moment, and it will inflate over time. It does beep to let you know it's working, and you will hear a little bit of noise. And when it completes, it will also beep again. At the end, it will show you your actual blood pressure as well as your heart rate. You'll notice that the screen has the date, as well as the information about the blood pressure, where it has the systolic and diastolic, and then it also has the pulse rate and which user, because there are allowed 2 users when you have the memory function in the Advocate. For additional information or any questions, please reach out to us at Acceleron.com.